Nebraskans are proud of their public schools. Hi, I'm Tim Royers. As a Nebraska Teacher of the Year, I traveled across the state and saw the value public schools bring to our communities every day. They're where our kids get the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. They're where families come together to enjoy a musical, cheer for our teams, talk with teachers, and build trusted relationships. Strong public schools create strong communities.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
This school year's in full swing. Students are back in class learning, making new friends, and developing new interests. I'm Tim Royers, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Parents, communication is key to helping your child succeed. Talk with your child and with their teacher. Whether your student is a high school senior or navigating the new world of kindergarten, keep an open dialogue about what they're learning. Let's make this the best school year yet.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is Bree Fansteel, local race car driver. Join me and James Rowland every Sunday at 7 p.m. for The Finish Line, where we discuss off-road, on-road, and sometimes next-to-the-road racing on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is area race announcer James Rowland. Join me and Bree Fansteel every Sunday night from 7 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket for The Finish Line, where we cover all things motorsports from local racing to racing around the world. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Ticket Sundays. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, come Sunday mornings. If you guys want to join in for the plethora of shows we got going all day long, use the Sartor Heyman text line. That's 402-464-5685. You can also put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. This is What's Next 24. We got Mike, Sherry, as well as a guest in today as well. So the house cleaning out of the way, I'll throw it over to the host.
All right. Well, good morning. Sherry, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Huskers won, baby.
Yeah. Harrison, how you doing after Husker hangover?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh,
Sherry's
what a
right. The
game.
Huskers won. Volleyball too. Want to shout them out? Yeah, we got 2 wins. Two big wins.
That was fantastic. So it just carries over today. So glad you're here again. I'm Mike. So happy to be on What's Next on 93.7 The Ticket. Sherry and I are the authors of Next 24 book, Discover Happiness and True Joy in Your Life While You Create a Legacy. You can get our book at next24book.com, at Barnes & Noble at South Point Mall. Sherry, I'm excited for today. Part of our book, we talk about health.
Yes,
talk
we
about,
do.
Healthy lifestyle, happy, healthy lifestyle. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest today?
We are so excited this morning to have Dr. Jamie Dodge here this morning, and he is he runs and is kind of the head honch for a place here. And are you in Lincoln, Dr. Dodge?
We are, Sherry, yeah.
In surrounding areas, it's called Alethia Integrative Health.
Yes.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did. Thank you.
All right. And just wait, you guys. We got a lot of good info for you today. And this is the guy. Let me tell you.
Sure. Before we get too deep into this, let's start with our tradition. We've got some affirmations to do and
absolutely. And we will tell Harrison, you start craziness. But we start with doing a daily affirmation. We have our little jar here of affirmations. We have everybody picks one and gets to read what their affirmations are. Harrison, start with you.
Now, let's hope mine pertains to good luck here.
Yeah. And if you get a blank one, remember you got to make it up.
Blank. I am a lucky person. We'll go with that
You
one.
are, baby.
There you go.
I can achieve great things.
You already have.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Michael.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Oh, wow. I'm a leader.
Some days you are.
Well, very good. Well, Dr. Dodge, we're glad to have you here.
Can I read mine, please?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I always leave you out, don't I?
Thank you. Yes, because I am beautifully made.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, Dr. Dodge, we're really glad you're here today. We do one other thing here. We'll do a daily devotion from Ricky Simmons' book.
Yes, and we're going to, once again, and we do this every week, but we have to keep promoting our good buddy, Ricky C. Simmons, who also has a show on Next 93.7 The Ticket, and it's on Sunday nights. It's from 8 to 9. Get your happy on. Don't miss it because it's fun, and Ricky is a blast, and he has so many good insights on how to be positive in your life. We like to read out of his wonderful book, 365 Days of Redemption. And today I am going to read his day 288. Our society is so focused on our differences that we can't see our similarities. Nobody is better than anybody else, regardless of the material things you may have or what race you belong to. We're all going to leave this earth one day, regardless to how privileged you think you are. Treat people the way you want to be treated and watch the world transform into a better place for everybody. Ricky, you know how I feel about you. You are stellar, and the things you write in here are so perfect for every single person in this world. And we love you, Rick.
Well, Dr. Dodge, glad you're here today. It's been really good. You've got an incredible, diverse background. I got to talk to you a little bit the other day. Let's start today. Could you just share with us about your journey and experience? Just start from the beginning and how this all came about.
Sure. Really appreciate you having me here, Mike and Sherry, Harrison. Yeah, great studio. Fun to be here. Born and raised in Nebraska. I grew up in Custer County and was mentored by an excellent small town physician, Ron Shepard. And, I grew up enjoying just knowing that you could always turn to somebody for your health care, for your medical needs. And boy, it was transformative in that community to have that present, and just always then grew up with a heart wanting to serve others just the same way Dr. Shepard served us. So went to Chadron for school, undergrad, and then the med center for medical school. And originally served in rural communities like Alliance, for example.
Wow.
And then we were in Northwest Iowa. I taught at a family medicine residency for a period of time. And then we've been back in Lincoln to where I began to develop the idea for our new medical venture, Alethia Integrative Medical. Mhm.
Well, I'm interested because I see mountaineering at the Army Mountain Warfare School.
Sure. Yeah. We, first year of medical school, we had a couple of med students. Actually, Dr. Kevin Richmond, who still practices here in town, and the late Colonel Dr. Chris Mosdem came and gave a presentation to our first year medical school class and said, you know what? If you want to serve in the military and continue your medical training, there's a way to do that. And I had never really put the two together and thought, well, that's pretty cool. I'd like to do that. And
Wow.
so I joined the Army National Guard and then was able to do a number of deployments and trainings throughout that really, I think, enhanced just the way I can give perspective and serve in the medical capacity now.
How did that affect your medical training? And just being in combat and being all involved and quick decisions. How did that affect you?
Yeah, sure. It was really, I'd say, helpful in practice. Both I learned a lot at the times, where you have to do that in scenarios where it's, higher stress and different types of injuries and things like that. So was able to bring that back to, we could call it civilian life
Sure.
to say, all right, now we can apply this in, especially in rural Nebraska, where you have limited resources and the injuries are still just as severe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Tell us about how did you get involved, or just early on in your education? How did medicine come to be the journey for you?
I think it was back to just examples I had growing up. Great teachers
Mhm.
that really encouraged me to study the sciences, particularly the life sciences. I think again, I mentioned the physician we had, along with physicians assistants in our
Mhm.
smaller town, who really just took it upon themselves to serve, really i- just in that small town to provide that for people that thought, well, if they didn't do it, who would really?
Mhm.
And they brought excellence to that, and that's what I admired. It wasn't that we had to sacrifice because we were in a small little place. We actually had some of the best that I would consider we could have.
Well, and I think too, Dr. Dodge, you a lot of people that are in the medical field, you know, there's something inside you that just it gives you that curiosity, it gives you that almost love for the profession,
Mhm.
for how the human body works, for how things work together. It's at least for me, it's just, and still to this day, it's just a natural curiosity. There's so many cutting edge things. There's so many new things that constantly come out. And it's like, this is cool. This is cool. I mean, I think if people really broke down some of the things that the human body can do, they would be blown out of the water. They really would. And I'm going to just say this really quick. I attended a conference years ago, and to this day, it has stuck with me. It had the overhead projector back in the day, but he put a petri dish up on there where you could see, and there was one cell in that petri dish, and you looked at it and it was moving. That one cell was moving. It was a cardiac stem cell. That one stem cell from the heart actually had a heartbeat. It had a rhythm. It constantly, I mean, it was just rhythmic. It didn't have a bunch of, where it would stop and then move. It was a constant beat, that one stem cell from a heart. And it blew me out of the water. How many more of those stem cells, how many more of those cells are in our body and all of our organs that are working together to keep us upright, so to speak?
You're right, Sherry. It is fascinating. I mean, there every day there's so much to learn,
Abs-
and learning from what is new, learning frankly from things that maybe we haven't utilized to their fullest capacity from the past, and then clearly learning from from patients. I learn from patients every day. And to your point of the stem cells and the regeneration and the renewal, and that's one thing we really focus on and try to hone in on for people at Alethia.
As we were talking on the phone the other day, I thought we could start today. I know you have an interest in talking about the approach toward medicine. Tell us
Sure.
how it's evolved for you.
Sure. Really, Mike, I think, what Sherry brought up, healing from within and regeneration and recognizing that, yes, there are a lot of things we can do with technology, externally to the body, but how can we really enhance those processes that come from within, that we're created with to renew and heal, um, really on our own with help from, a guided, professional or in the modalities that we use.
Well, you'd mentioned the other day about client frustrations.
Mhm.
And I was thinking about when you talk about the current frustrations, can you delve in a little bit more about what we were talking about?
Sure. Yeah, I think, and even to your, why you maybe brought this to the public with your book and everything, people have lost hope.
Right. Lost
They've
hope,
lost
lost faith.
trust.
Yeah. Right.
And I think a lot of that is from frustration with how they maybe feel as a part of a system, or that they're a product of sorts to say, well, this is all we can do for you, and we're limited in some way. And when patients hear those limits, when people are limited by that, they do get frustrated and they do lose hope.
Yeah. Well, I noticed you mentioned we talked again like on the phone many times when I used to go to the doctor's office. I never actually saw the doctor,
Sure.
the practitioner, and I felt like I was run through a mill. You mentioned about that.
Right. I think, yeah, one thing that we strive for is to make, all of our interactions, all of our visits, and all of our care about you, the patient, or rather than how does the patient fit into a system or a box or a process, right? So, it, I mean, a typical, visit may have looked like for you something like,
Right.
once a year
Yeah.
for a handful of minutes. You get to visit with somebody that you may or may not know or have met before, or don't, you know, you may wonder, do they know a whole lot about me? You get handed a basic set of information with or without explanation that then tells you, well, you'll probably be all right for the next 12 months or so.
I sensed when we were talking the other day, you had some frustrations about, I don't know if I use the right term, traditional medicine
Sure.
or the
And
process.
yeah, and I think a lot of it, even I would say, even physicians can be frustrated with that. They feel like, well, I just have to do something that might be see a lot of people in a period of day. And I think a lot of physicians really would like to spend more time with their patients. They'd like to get to know them more. They'd like to be able to delve into some of the details or the unanswered questions that they might have about their health and things.
Tell me and explain to our listeners too, because I think there's some people don't know, some people do. But first of all, tell us. So you are board certified and licensed, I'm assuming, in internal medicine?
I trained in family medicine, so
Okay.
that then gives me the capacity for care for
Just
from
about
age
everything.
0 to
Right.
100 plus. So
Right.
yeah.
Now, and on that note, explain to our listeners the difference between traditional medicine and functional medicine.
Sure. I think in traditional medicine, to me, it's interesting because maybe we've even hijacked that term to mean medicine from 1900 till now. Whereas is traditional medicine, did it really begin then, or is it much older? But I think the capacity or the concept maybe of Western medicine might be
That's a good
of a term more akin to what we are familiar with. We call modern, so to speak, and then functional medicine in speaks more to finding the root cause of disease, and that could be a number of things. I mean, that could be an answer that's found with modern methods. That could be an answer that's found with lifestyle changes. That could be focusing on nutrition and spirituality and mindset. So, and putting that all together then becomes integrated, where you're integrating. Okay, this is a holistic method. This is a modern diagnostic modality how do we integrate that then for the health of the individual? And that's what we do.
What do you see such from your observation society today? What are the main problems you're seeing? Is obesity, bad diet, mental health? What's been your observation? Maybe since COVID, a shift, a change. What's your
Sure.
thoughts?
Well, you pick one, Mike. I mean, they're
You
all
do.
there.
They're all there,
right?
aren't they?
Yeah, and I think I guess one term comes to mind is assault. People have been assaulted by many things, and that could be economic pressure, that could be environmental you know toxins and things that we're putting into our bodies that we're exposed to. Certainly the mental piece is weighing heavy on people, and that affects the health. And we don't disregard that as far with our integrative approach from a standpoint of we know that all affects your health.
Mhm.
And so how can we help with that? Or at least help people recognize that those are factors in their health, and what can then they do about it.
Mhm.
And I really like that. I like that answer because I think, in today's world, people are under so much stress and so much pressure, and they go to the doctor. I'm depressed. I'm having a lot of anxiety. Okay, here we're gonna put you on, some Xanax for your anxiety, or we're gonna put you on an antidepressant for your depression. And you start, and my person, and I'll just give you a quick synopsis of my personal journey. I mean, I'd gone through a lot of bad things in my life. Depression, anxiety was a big thing, PTSD. Okay, put you on a pill, put you on a pill, put you on a pill. My daughter's talked me into going to a functional medicine doctor. She says, whoa, back the truck up. There's a lot more to some of this than just being depressed in your mind. Your body is also contributing to a lot of things, so we talked, we ran a lot of lab work, a lot of I mean, especially from a woman's standpoint, but now more and more you're seeing it from the men's side too, is, hormones are playing a big part in a lot of this. Hormones play a lot of part in your anxiety, your depression, how you're feeling, even physically, and so she started running some lab tests, which, and I have a great traditional medicine doctor. I absolutely adore her. But when I brought it up to her, no, we, hormones, you're this age and you've had the hysterectomy and, the whole thing. You don't, no, this isn't coming into effect. The other doctor said, let's just be sure. Well, I'd been in medical the majority of my life. I didn't realize that women needed to have so much testosterone in their body. Ran my lab test, zero. Zero. I had none. And she was just like, whoa, okay, we need to do something about this. We need to address this issue. Well, when we started addressing this issue and doing some things and putting in some supplements, it was like night and day to the way I felt. My thinking, the way I felt physically, the whole 9 yards. And it blew me out of the water. And working in traditional medicine, it took a little bit for me to be even talked into trying a functional medicine doctor, even though she's board certified, licensed in internal med, and a real doctor, so to speak. I worked for an old school doctor who I adore. He's almost like a brother. He's from Lincoln, and old school, good old boy. But I worked in cancer, and he used to. Some of our patients would do functional medicine, and he would joke and say, "Oh yeah, the fruit and nuts." But let me tell you what, those are some of the patients that I saw overcome some of the issues with cancer. And, I think there's such a misconception about integrative and functional medicine and how they approach what's going on in your whole body. I've just been reading a lot about your cortisol levels, and about cortisol detox and those kind of things. And I think that people need to kind of broaden their horizons a little bit, do a little more research into, the body as a whole. And, you know, give us kind of just a quick rundown of some of the things that you do to cover some of those things with the body as a whole and what's affecting their health. And we're not and not just dealing with one specific little problem and just, well, here's a prescription.
Yeah, that's a great background, Sherry. I mean that sums it up so nicely, and really, I think to your point is knowledge, and the knowledge of how do we gain knowledge of a patient and what is actually truly going on. And as you brought up, a lot of lab tests, for example. So gaining that knowledge as far as, okay, we need to run some highly detailed testing specific to you as an individual, and what is going on and what we think we might discover for that. So then once we gain that knowledge and then bring that knowledge in also of, the functional approach, integrating that with what we can then do for that individual, then yes, then we have some steps to take to really hone in, really improve that health and solve those problems. Sometimes with pharmaceutical technology, sometimes with nutritional changes, sometimes with lifestyle coaching, sometimes with uh, dietary supplements, nutrition, vitamin, oxygen, stem cell activation, and the list goes on. But I think really ultimately it comes down to knowledge. First, hearing someone's story, where they've been medically,
Mhm.
where's life taken them? How have they arrived at this point? What have they done up to this point as far as discovering information and trying various treatment modalities? And then how do we then go forward? So really knowledge is the key.
It's not one size fits all.
No, certainly not. No, and that's unfortunately what, again, to Mike's point earlier of where people find themselves frustrated. Um, they've maybe been felt like or have been put in a one size fits all system, which, like most systems, works for a percentage of people. And I use that term "works" loosely as we're seeing the health effects of society around us. And they then ask if I break apart from that just to try to gain knowledge, just to try to obtain a different treatment modality. What does that look like? And who can help me? And that's where we feel our role is to be that guide, that coach, and that really, in a lot of sense, teacher to help them gain that knowledge.
Tell me, we were talking about the frustrations on that. Let's say I come into your office first time. What would be my experience? I come into your door.
Hmm.
What's the process?
Sure. Well, we really want to get to know you.
Mhm.
So we spend typically a 60-minute initial visit.
Wow.
Just getting to know you.
60 minutes.
Yes.
Would
Yep,
that be
that's-
with you?
Yep, with me.
You don't see that very often. You don't see that at all.
Oh.
Or I mean, I don't.
I've
see
never
that.
seen it.
I don't see that.
Yeah, at least
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
don't
in my
see that.
experience. I'm sure it's out there, but my personal
Yeah.
experience, I haven't gotten 60 minutes intro.
And let me give you a quick profile. Okay, I'm 63 years old. I see a lot of men my age, 63, a little overweight, a little hypertension, a little bit of blood pressure. I do my annual physical when I used to drive for StarTran. I don't sit with anybody for 60 minutes. They draw my blood, they do the test, they come back, I get it in the mail. It says, "Oh, your cholesterol's high, your blood pressure's high." I don't hear anything back. All I have is a piece of paper. But you're telling me if I came in, I could get a 60-minute consultation.
Yeah, we
Wow.
visit with I'll visit with you for
Or
60 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
And
I'm surprised.
right.
Pleasantly surprised.
With that, we then I can make an appropriate plan for you to gain that more information, Sherry. Like okay, what tests are we going to run?
Mhm.
What are some of my initial thoughts as to direction we want to go with this?
Mhm.
We make a time to obtain the testing.
Okay.
Sometimes we can do that right then and there, depending on the time of the day, et cetera, and your convenience. But then we bring you back and
Yeah.
have a follow-up visit.
Well, tell me, because I'm really fascinated by the 60-minute visit.
Sure.
What I'm sure you've got some preset questions you're going to ask, or how do you? Tell me a little bit about that. I'm curious about that.
Really, it's one term we use is a deep dive into your medical history.
Okay.
And with that does come a lot of, just I'd say personal history and, things, how you've interacted with medical care before.
See, when I hear
Yeah.
that, when I hear you say that, I feel immediate like, oh, here's a doctor who cares.
I found that really it takes a lot of time to get to know somebody in a way to adequately inform their medical decisions I make with them.
But now, don't you find the individual that comes in? I mean, I'm not highly educated in medicine, but I go to Dr. MD or Dr. Google.
Sure. Sure.
And I'm sure that creates some problems.
Well, I really I love questions,
Yeah.
and I don't receive it as a challenge, and I will tell patients straight up I don't know everything.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
and once I do, I've actually closed myself off from future learning. So
Yeah.
I don't adopt that attitude. So
So
I'm always happy to hear their questions and what they're learning too.
So I come in and you're gathering the data, the information. Tell me a little bit what I'm assuming it's the blood pressure tests, the weight. What else would we be doing that first?
Yeah, sure. Checking your blood pressure, checking your weight. We do like to do a body composition analysis too.
Mhm.
We have a scanner that we use for that. Um, and then, yeah, blood tests that can take some time. We have to get a lot
Right.
of detail with those, but yeah, typically then once I see you back, we've got a lot of information to review.
Mhm.
And with that, then we can really make a more detailed assessment of how to move forward. And we structure that over a period of months to a
Mhm.
year and seeing people back at regular intervals. Again, having extended visits, follow-up visits are typically 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Again,
Well,
with me. So
well, that type of process you talked about. Oh, we need to take
Yep,
Harrison.
we're
We
up to our
need
first break here.
We need to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more with Dr. Dodge.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association. In partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into What's Next 24. Harrison Arns on the board, as always, come Sunday mornings. We got Mike Sherry and Jamie Dodge with Alethia Health in here as well. We got them for 60 minutes. You also get them for 60 minutes if you agree to have a consultation with them. So, house cleaning out of the way, throw it back over to the host.
All right, well, thanks, Harrison. Well, I'm so fascinated by today's story because you have such, Dr. Dodge, you have such a unique business model. Can you share with listeners? People don't know about this, I'm sure. In great detail.
Yeah.
Tell us about this unique business model.
Sure. Appreciate that, Mike. Yeah, it's a membership-based model where people just simply pay a monthly fee. And with that comes essentially unlimited visits, interactions with our office.
Wow.
So
Tell me the history. How did this develop? How did you find this? Or
Sure. There are actually a number of doctors in the state, even in Lincoln and Omaha, and then around the country, doing what's called direct primary care, which is essentially it had to be legislated to allow this, but to allow doctors to simply just charge a straightforward fee to allow people to interact with them that way. So I had learned of this. I'd gone to a couple of conferences, seen some other doctors in the area doing this, and thought this makes more sense because it takes away that pressure to just have a 5 or 10 minute visit and have so many people coming in the office all the time, such that you, the patient, feel like you don't have enough time with your doctor.
when did you open the doors? When did this begin?
November of 22.
Wow.
Oh,
Yep.
just 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you decided to let's go, let's do this.
I did, and again, want to give all credit to my wife, who's helping with the venture and has been there every step of the way. So
Is she medical? Does she have a medical background?
she has a law background. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So what did you decide? I mean, I'm just fascinated because this membership idea is I can't tell you how many times I was told, well, you've reached your number of limits
Sure.
for this calendar year, the doctor's visit. Now you're going to have to pay so much out of pocket, and it's difficult, and I'm frustrated, and I feel like my problems aren't really getting solved, and the doctor's now not going to meet with me, or I'm going to have to pay this huge unexpected bill. That sounds like this is solved through this membership idea.
It really is, Mike. And we found that not only, we or me as a doctor frustrated with um, that limit, wanting to help somebody,
Mhm.
figure those answers out or solve
Mhm.
that problem. Obviously, you as a patient were frustrated with that
Oh,
too.
very
So by
frustrated.
removing the the third party, as it were, for example, insurance, and we recognize that's a factor. We
Mm.
recognize that most people have insurance, but we step into a model and with the patients to say, let's take that out of the equation and just focus on you and your health.
Well, how do you deal with the problem? Always seems to be, I wanted to go see a particular doctor, but, oh, he's out of network.
Sure.
How are you solving this problem?
Well, really, with us, we're not in a network,
Wow.
so they that is all covered by their membership fee.
Yeah.
So
Because I would have been frustrated, and I've done this where I said, well, okay. And so I don't go to the doctor because I can't afford what the bill's going to be. So I delay it. I may not do anything for another year.
right, and then you have a bigger problem than what you started with.
Mhm.
Correct. Can you, for the listeners, what's, they come to you, how do they sign up? How do they do the membership?
Right. And a lot of our patients start with what we call a meet and greet, where they just simply schedule a time to sit down and meet me and take a look at the facility, meet the team, and decide if it would be a good fit for them.
Now you
So
say the team. Who's on the
yep.
team?
So certainly, my wife is the office manager. We have nursing staff and
Mhm.
administrative staff as well. So it's good to say.
Wow.
We also have a couple of associates, a physician assistant, another physician with us, working part time. So that when I say team, we all work together really for
Mhm.
your health.
I'll let Sherry ask the next question, but tell us about the services. How did you structure the services that you're going to provide?
Right. Really by finding what is helpful to patients. So we offer things like hyperbaric oxygen as an adjunct treatment to promote oxygen to tissues and activate stem cells. We use IV infusions. We use near infrared light therapy, all methods and
Mhm.
modalities to heal from within. And really trying to promote and really appreciate your story, Sherry, on the stem cell activation. Such a key to try to help mobilize and really achieve what we call cellular health at the very base level of your body, which then leads to tissue health, organ health, and then whole person health.
Well, and I think that that's where a lot of healing starts. That's where a lot of it starts is at that very base level. And you offer a range of different treatments and modalities. I mean, things that people aren't used to, things that a lot of traditional medicines don't offer. I mean, we were just on the break, we were just talking briefly, and this is just something little. Something that I've done, I've battled sinus issues since I was a kid, sinus surgery, the whole 9 yards, allergies. When I get a cold or get stuffed up or it's allergy season and I just can't quite get things to drain with over the counter medicines, with prescription medicine. One of the things that I do with my functional medicine doctor, and I just had Mike do this too about maybe about 4 6 weeks ago, and he was a little skeptical.
That was
But
different.
they
It was
have
so
a
new.
treatment, and Dr. Dodge, they have this at his clinic too. It's ozone treatment, and and you correct me if I'm wrong, but they can actually draw up some ozone gas, which I believe it is, and they draw it up into a syringe. It's just like air. It seems like air, and you think, well, this ain't gonna work. And they kind of shoot it up into your nostrils and you let it sit there for a minute. And I'm telling you what, you walk away. And sometimes I have to have a whole box of Kleenex in the car because it just empties everything out. No sinus pressure, no more teeth pain from the pressure from my sinuses, none of the junk. And then I don't end up going into the sinus infection. But there's so many other things that you offer with these treatments and modalities rather than just throwing a prescription at somebody or telling them to go buy something over the counter. Can you just touch briefly on a couple of the things that you offer?
Sure. Love your point about ozone. I mean, oxygen is so important. So,
Yes.
utilizing ozone therapy, which we do, hyperbaric oxygen treatment,
Right.
which we do, really gives your body, those cells, the oxygen they need that they're not completely lacking, but they're certainly starved of in some degree. They're depleted. They're they're lacking that oxygen. So once you give your cells that, believe it or not, they work like they're supposed to, which is to heal your body, to provide essential functions, to produce those hormones, those neurotransmitters for your mood. So that is one of the many things we do. And in addition to that, it's a phototherapy
Hmm.
using light
Mhm.
waves that actually affect change within the body. We all know this. We know if we go out into the sunlight, something will happen. We'll feel warm. We might get a sunburn. Somebody told us, well, you'll make vitamin D from the sunlight. So we all know that light waves affect our body. So then it's just about harnessing those specific wavelengths to do certain things, just like people are tuned in to 93.7 frequency right now
Mhm.
and they're hearing us talk. Well, if you use light waves of a certain wavelength, it tells your cells to do something and they'll hear and do a certain thing. And so that then what are those things? Well, that's promoting your health.
And it's, I know that, and I've been seeing a lot that red light therapy is starting to
Mhm.
become very prevalent, I hate to use the word popular,
Mhm.
but a lot of people are really benefiting from that modality. What kind of explain that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. Red light or a lot of times we'll term it in because it's visible. So it looks red. And is infrared light, which gets warm, and then there's what we call near infrared light, which is close to infrared, but not quite. So it might be 93.7, could be infrared, and 92.9 could be near infrared, just in that analogy. But near infrared light tends to reduce, it activates mitochondria, the engines of your cell. It reduces inflammation. It can promote hormone production, muscle health, and reduced pain. And we have that in both, lights you can actually physically sit under
Hmm.
Mhm.
for a period of time. And then throughout the day, we have wearable phototherapy technology that you can then wear and go about everything you need to do throughout the day, too.
Oh,
So,
wow.
You mentioned stem cells.
mhm.
Can go ahead and talk about that topic that you.
Yeah. Yeah, Sherry brought up a fun example of just being able to see a cell with so much potential. That's what a stem cell is. We're all born with them. We have them throughout life. They become less active as we age and a little bit harder to, say, mobilize and go do what they're supposed to do. That's why we heal more efficiently when we're younger and less efficiently or quickly as we age, but we still can. So that all that is to say, okay, let's find those stem cells and wake them up and give them signals to go do what they're supposed to do,
Mhm.
which is heal your body tissue and provide that just ongoing vitality and health. So, and we use a number of methods to do that.
And I think that you also had talked about that your clinic does infusion therapy,
Mhm.
and I explain that a little bit because I've seen infusion therapy. You can take that term infusion therapy. I mean, chemotherapy is infusion therapy.
Sure.
Getting if you get dehydrated, just getting fluids is infusion therapy. Explain to us what kind of infusion therapy you do.
Sure. So infusion, uh, typically refers to intravenous. So just finding a vein, and you as a nurse know this, and a lot of people have had blood draws and IVs, and just accessing your vascular system that way, and then providing vitamins, minerals, nutrients, ozone directly to the blood. And we find that really, if you have vitamin levels that are too low, iron levels that are too low, or you might even need an antibiotic, that needs to go directly to your bloodstream
Mhm.
to really affect the most rapid and significant change. Certain
Dr.
vitamins.
Dodge, I need to stop for a minute there. We need to take a break, and we'll be right back, and we'll continue with Dr. Dodge in just a minute.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Early break.
And then a week after retirement, he was flipping burgers in a what would you call that truck? A
food truck?
Food truck.
What kind of truck would that be with food in it?
Words are hard.
What is that? There's a truck. They show up. They show up at noon, and then they drive in, and it's a food. Oh, I can't put it together. I can't get this food truck.
Food truck.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
This school year's in full swing. Students are back in class learning, making new friends, and developing new interests. I'm Tim Royers, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Parents, communication is key to helping your child succeed. Talk with your child and with their teacher. Whether your student is a high school senior or navigating the new world of kindergarten, keep an open dialogue about what they're learning. Let's make this the best school year yet.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Nebraskans are proud of their public schools. Hi, I'm Tim Royers. As a Nebraska Teacher of the Year, I traveled across the state and saw the value public schools bring to our communities every day. They're where our kids get the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. They're where families come together to enjoy a musical, cheer for our teams, talk with teachers, and build trusted relationships. Strong public schools create strong communities.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, wrapping up here, final segment. What's next 24? We got a little bit of time here left and plenty of information to get out, so I'll throw it right over to the host.
All right, Harrison.
Thanks, Harrison.
You said we had a text message. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. We had Mark wanting to know the office details where they can currently find you.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Mark. We're located in Lincoln, physically just south of 56th and Pine Lake, 5445 Red Rock. Our website's Alethia Integrative, and would love to serve you. Phone number is 531-333-2037.
Doctor, for the time we got left, tell us, Alethia, say the name again.
Alethia.
Alethia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I always get it wrong. Tell me what it stands for.
In Greek, it means truth. So we just aim to partner with people for finding true health, true healing, and really true hope.
We talked the other day. I was talking to Harrison. Now I'll admit I'm 63. Harrison's 25. How would you approach a 25-year-old versus 63?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and believe it or not, 25-year-olds still want to achieve health. Right? It looks a little differently. They may not have acquired as many of life's damages and wear and tear and so forth, but still looking to say, well, I'd like to maybe have more energy. I'd like to have some fitness goals I'd like to achieve, or maybe even some traveling and personal goals that require a certain level of health. So that's we're looking to help in that age group, especially, and we help a lot of young athletes.
Touch on that. Touch on the athlete side of it. I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, well, we all know sports are popular, right? Here we sit, right? So both recreational and high school and at the collegiate level, helping recover from all the workouts that you have to do to that, helping with the nutrition piece of it, helping with that dietary supplement piece of it, and then recovering from all those as the seasons progress, as the fitness journey progresses, we're able to really just take that to the next level so that you're really performing at your optimum, and do it from a medical perspective, and trying to help guide those athletes really to their optimum health.
And how does your process I'm thinking as an athlete, I had knee surgery years ago. How's it helping the healing process? Sounds like it helps a lot better.
Well, we're seeing greater and more rapid recovery as Coach Rule walks by the studio.
I know, I got excited.
Great
I'm
game,
sorry.
Coach.
I messed up. I
Get him
switched
back
the
here.
camera.
We should have grabbed him
Get
in
him
here.
back here. I want to meet him.
Right. Yeah. So speaking of which, right, helping just with that recovery piece, our process just sets the body up for success, reduced injury, improved performance, and knowing that you're at your top condition when you step onto the practice field or the game court.
And you also offer some supplementation.
Right. Yeah. So again, being very mindful of what does a person actually need, as an individual. It looks different for everybody, but then trying to then consolidate all those so that you're not just taking something just to take it, knowing that your micronutrient levels have been measured and tested, and now here's a high quality product that we can offer to then just meet that need for you.
Well, my question is what to take. A lot of athletes take the creatine.
Sure. Yeah, creatine. It's it's in food products, or you can have like a lot of technology allows, you can isolate it and take it.
Mhm.
And believe it or not, your brain even needs creatine.
But
So that is something we frequently.
What I find though with a lot of athletes though, they take
Mhm.
what's popular today.
Sure.
And supplements. It's not necessarily the right amount, right formula, right. You walk if you're doing supplementation, what I'm getting at, you take the person through
Yes.
what they
So
should take and how they should take it and why they
right.
should take it.
Yep. Having a reasoning behind everything, is key. And again, we know that to your point earlier, people bring in a lot of their own experience, information. I don't disregard that at all.
Mhm.
But we
Mhm.
know that it does look different from one to the next, how we might advise a particular product or supplement.
The other thing I want to get to, because you put this on your Facebook page quite a bit, and I love it, is testimonies from your patients.
Sure.
Share some of that and about the weight loss.
Sure. Yeah, I find that again, weight is just a number, but it just simply reflective of maybe what's been happening up to this point in time. But from a practical standpoint, it does mean that if someone could stand to lose 20 or 30 or 40 plus pounds, it really feels a lot different on their mind and their body. So
Mhm.
joining with them on that journey is really rewarding because we're able to see people then achieve something that's not a number. They might lose pounds, but what do they gain? It's typically
Right.
greater health, more time with friends, family, achieving their
Because there's
life
a lot
goals.
of fads out there on the weight loss journey. Sometimes
Sure.
people just starve themselves.
Sure. And we find that if that happens, they lose weight, but that number means they've lost muscle mass. They've
Mhm.
lost bone density, and now they've set themselves up for maybe a little bit lower state of health, even though their number is also lower. We partner with them to gain health while
Mhm.
maybe reducing that weight number.
Do you have a particular testimony in mind that you've heard from people? What?
Sure. We worked with a particular patient that could not actually put their own shoes on. So that was a goal to be able to put their own shoes
Wow.
on. And then that turned into go up the stairs in their own home, which then turned into I'd like to get down and play with on the floor with my grandkids.
Wow.
And goals
Wow.
all achieved.
Harrison, you got any questions?
No, I'd recommend going to the website though. You look at the testimonials you get; they truly listen a lot. So if
Yeah.
you're looking for that,
Yeah.
Alethia Health, Dr. Jamie Dodge,
Dodge.
that's the way to go.
Yep. Jimmy Dodge, I think we're running close to out of time here. The mic is yours. What would you like to say to the community of Lincoln?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody that's partnered with us and trusted us up to this point in their healthcare journey. And we'd love to continue to serve all of you. And again, appreciate the referrals and looking forward to seeing you in the office.
Well, we'll have to have you come on back. All right. Let's
Thank
do that
you.
again. Thank you all.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you,
We'll
Dr.
see you next
Dodge.
week.
Hit 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older